Hello everyone. Today we are going to be talking about setting boundaries or setting limits. These boundaries are imaginary lines that cannot be crossed, cannot be passed. As adults, these lines are very important. They help you to be who you want to be, who you are and who you want to be, and not necessarily what people think you are and what you should be. So they're very, very important. Now, as for children, um, as the adult living with the children, if you don't know just how far the children can go in terms of behavior, then you may end up living in hell or raising children who cannot fit in the society. And we don't want this because we love our children, that's for sure. We want the best for them. One of the best gifts that we can give to them is the gift of good behavior, knowing what is right and what is wrong, what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. Because if they have good behavior, this will help them in life. This will help them to navigate through life, to navigate through values, to navigate through relationships, and many more. But then again, as we set these boundaries for the children, we know for sure that they will test these limits. They will want to get away with not doing what you wish them to do. Do not get angry. Do not worry. This is part of life. They have to do this as children. This is nature. It is in their nature to test the limits. For you as an adult, your job is to control and to let them know what the limits are. Okay? Because once they do this, it helps them also in life to be able to make choices and hopefully to be able to make good choices. Now, we have some few ideas on how to set the boundaries for the children. One of them is effective communication, which is very important. Teach your children to be able to express their ideas, their opinions in a respectable manner and without getting angry. One way you can do this is to model the behavior that you wish them to learn. For example, if you wish for them to speak in a kind manner, please talk to them in a kind way so they learn to see how to be kind looks like, how it feels like, and then they'll practice. Again, do not belittle them and do not embarrass them if they do something you don't like or if they say something that is contrary to your point of view. That is their point of view and you have your own point of view and it is okay, then you can discuss, but do not belittle them, do not embarrass them. Okay? The other one is setting clear rules and sticking to them. For this, we need to be consistent and at the same time friendly. Because, as we said, we love our children. We want the best for them. So we need to be friendly because we are not fighting with anybody, you know. We love them and you're not fighting with them. So we have to be friendly as we set these rules. Okay? Then the rules need to be age appropriated. For example, if you're setting rules for a 3-year-old, you cannot set the same rules for a 7-year-old because they are at different stages of development and they need rules that apply to their age, okay, and stage of development. Now, in the last video, we talked about involving the children when you have a project. This way, the children feel, they own the project, they take responsibility, and the same thing applies as to when you're setting the rules for the children. Involve them. I have an example for this. I once watched 2 sisters. One of them was about 8, the other one was about 6. And for these 2, dinner was always a problem. They were always complaining at dinner time, oh no, this could have been cooked like this, you could have done this and that. and their mom was getting like, what do I do with this now? Then she sat down with them and invited the lady who was helping, who was cooking for them. And the four of them came up with a weekly menu, especially for dinner. Then after that, no more complaints. Everybody was happy at dinner time. There's no more complaints from the sisters because they were involved in making that rule, in making the menu for dinner for the whole week. As you set the rules also, you need to make them brief and very clear. By brief, I mean that you don't give a lot of explanation, or you don't give room for a lot of discussion about the rule. Otherwise, this way, you lose the point, and then you may end up not giving the rule as you wish to do. To be clear, the rule need to be short and have no room for ambiguity. You don't want to create this, you give a rule and the children are asking, but what did Mama mean by this? What was Papa talking about? Because then this way, they will start putting their own ideas on how they understand that rule, which may be different from what you wanted. For example, if you say, I realize, or I see that we have been going to bed so late. Maybe we need to change that and we stop going to bed very late at night. You see that one, late is relative. But what if you say, we go to bed at 8 p.m. Very clear and can be understood by anybody reading that. Okay, so make them very brief and very, very clear. Start with a few. Like the one I just mentioned, we go to bed at 8 p.m. You can have another one like we wash hands before and after eating. We say thank you whenever somebody gives us something. We put garbage in the garbage bin, just a few to begin with. And once they are well understood by the children, then you can introduce new ones. Okay? I have seen in some places where people will draw the rule that they want the children to understand. For example, if you choose 3 or 4, you make a drawing of each one of them, then you stick on the wall so that the children can see, and once they see, they remember, and then they'll practice it with ease, and it's one way of making it easier for them to understand the rule. Once again, once the rules are well understood and you see that the children are practicing, then you introduce new ones. Okay? Again, as we do this, we need to be patient with the children. You cannot set the rules today and you expect them to understand them just today, because it doesn't work that way. They'll forget. Again, as we said before, you're not fighting. All you're doing is creating a happy environment for everybody to be who they are, and at the same time to live happily together. So you're not fighting. So be patient with them and give them some friendly reminders so that they can remember the rule and practice in a happy environment. Then we have the other one, which is you need to remember to follow through the consequences. You know, once you have a rule, you have the consequence. You need to follow through to this without feeling guilty. You know, one way of doing this is by explaining the consequence at the time that you're explaining the rule. Example, you say, we go to bed at 8 p.m. and if we don't do this, these are the consequences. So when you practice the consequences, the children will not complain because they already know it was already explained to them at the time that the rule was set. But again, I will not get into the details of the discipline, the consequences in this video, because God willing, in the next video, we will be talking about consequences and discipline. It's in the upcoming video. But just to mention that empty threats do not solve the problem. You know, you may find that your child is very happy because all you're saying, you know, I will switch off the television. You know, you will go to your room for 10 minutes. and you're not doing it, he or she will be very happy because she's getting away with not obeying the rule. And then what happens is eventually they will not take the boundaries seriously, and you end up living in that small hell. So stick to the consequences. Okay? Now, the good one. Recognize when they make efforts to stick to the boundaries, because they will make efforts. Notice when they do it, praise them for doing it, because once they see that, they will also make efforts to make you happy and to stick to the boundaries. Thank you so much. I hope to see you very, very soon. Ciao, ciao.